Hey everybody, and welcome to another segment of AstrologyAnswers.com's weekly forecast. My name is Terence. The week begins on Monday, November the 13th, with a powerful new moon in Scorpio. There's a new moon once a month. Wherever the new moon falls in your horoscope is where your priorities and your attention is being drawn to. New moons usher in new beginnings. But this new moon is going to be very significant individually, but also globally. Because first of all, it's in Scorpio, and Scorpio is all or nothing passionate energies, but it's going to be aligning with Mars, warrior, aggressive, impulsive Mars. Not only it brings in that anxious, impulsive energy of Mars, but the new moon on Mars is also going to be in opposition or confrontation with rebellious or unexpected Uranus. So this could be over the next couple of weeks, because we go from the new moon 2 weeks later, the full moon. The full moon brings everything to a head, brings everything to light. This could indicate some violent weather changes or earthquakes as a good example. But there's earthquakes every day. But this could be perhaps a significant earthquake, or this just might be more anger, protesting around the world. Now, on Tuesday, the 14th, the moon is now in Sagittarius, where Scorpio is more brooding, more introspective, more private. Scorpio is the exact opposite. And the moon represents the general public tone. Sagittarius is very outgoing, very friendly. And this moon in Sagittarius will be in harmony with communication Mercury and sociable Venus around 6 to 8 a.m. Pacific time. So it's early in the day for people on the West Coast of the United States, but more later in the day for the rest of the world. Well, this can be a very sociable time, very favorable for creative writing, for having more heartfelt conversation. On Wednesday, the moon continues in optimistic, outgoing Sagittarius, but where the moon on Tuesday was crossing Mercury and then favorable to Venus within the early morning Pacific time, on Wednesday, with the moon continuing in Sagittarius, now the communication Mercury will be exactly in harmony with Venus. They were very close on Tuesday, but Wednesday is when the Mercury and the Venus are harmonizing exactly. A really good day for all kinds of conversations with that compromising, benefic Venus energies. You could be thinking and talking, that's Mercury, about love and relationships. So favorable for expressing yourself creatively. By mid-afternoon, though, that moon will be in a hard angle to nebulous Neptune, but it's only lasts for about an hour or two Pacific Standard Time. So that could be an hour or two where you get kind of off focus, confused, misunderstandings. But for most of the day, it's very positive and very sociable and outgoing. On Thursday, now the moon is in Capricorn, where Sagittarius is very out there, friendly, enthusiastic. Capricorn can be a little bit more serious. It's more business-minded, more organized to get the job done. And that moon in Capricorn will be in harmony with expansive lucky Jupiter and triggering creative sociable Venus in the mid-afternoon Pacific Pacific Standard Time. So that moon to Jupiter, there's a general optimism, but with the moon in Capricorn being much more grounded and not going over the top, could be very favorable energies here with making money, because Jupiter is often about prosperity and Venus likes the finer things in life. Friday on the 17th, in the first half of the day, Pacific time, the sun in Scorpio will be in harmony with inspiring Neptune, idealistic Neptune. This trine of Sun to Neptune happens twice a year. It's a very inspiring time. It's a very empathetic, very caring, and this kind of this idealism. Later in the day, the last half of the day on Friday, Pacific time, now the sun, it's still with the Neptune, but now it's starting to put its focus more on Mars, as the Mars is in Scorpio, because that new moon was very close, within 2 degrees, which is a tight orb of influence. So on Monday, the new moon at 20 degrees of Scorpio was very close to the Mars at 22 degrees of Scorpio. So by Friday, now the sun will be exactly crossing over Mars. That Sun-Mars can put a real spotlight on a lot of energy, ambition, and drive. Now, if the Sun-Mars is triggering any type of conflict and anger and stress, the Sun-Neptune influence is still happening, is going to bring more compassion, wisdom, more empathy, and actually, if there's any kind of violence with the Sun-Mars, the Sun-Neptune will be very spiritually healing and charitable. On Saturday, now the moon is in quirky, friendly Aquarius. And the moon will then be in a hard angle to expansive Jupiter early evening Pacific time. The moon Jupiter, and it's a Saturday night, the kind of the general public tone is very much more upbeat, optimistic, expansive. The only thing you want to be careful about is that this is a hard angle called a square, as opposed to a soft angle, which is more easygoing. So with the emotional moon in a hard angle to Jupiter going into a Saturday night, you might be inclined to overindulge, spend too much money, eat too much, drink too much, having the best time, but you might regret it the next day from overdoing everything with a smile on your face. On Sunday, the moon continues in quirky, friendly Aquarius, but now it's going to be in a hard angle to unpredictable Uranus mid-afternoon Pacific time. That could trigger, for like an hour or two, some unexpected sudden surprises or some upsets, emotional upsets. But it's just energy. And what I would recommend, that this could be very favorable to getting out of any stuck habit or routine, because the moon can represent our emotional unconscious patterns. And when it hits Uranus, there could be this sudden surprise, but it could also be very favorable for letting go of limiting habits. I want to thank you for tuning in. I hope to see you next week with my next segment. Until then, be safe and well.